A 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a show with no particular niche, baby. It's always about hanging out. Maybe we'll laugh at some stuff, maybe we'll learn something new, but it's always about hanging out, me and you. Hi, hello, and welcome to That Thing with James, a podcast about nothing in particular. I'm your host, James, and this is the first full episode I've done, actually, full free episode I've done post the series called Grandpa Goes to the Eastern Bloc. I did a bonus episode after the final episode or so. No. Hold on. I did read a little bit in the last bonus episode. And if you want to catch it and all the rest of the Grandpa series, if you've not seen it / heard it, if you're primarily a listener of this show, I really highly encourage it. It took me some months to get through this 74-page document that a cousin, my dear cousin, whose name I will not share, I try to keep people safe, as safe as I possibly can, even though I'm putting myself out on the internet. Regardless, a cousin of mine back in spring, if you hear crunching, that's my doggy Cosmo. He's having his breakfast. Well, back in spring, this is 2023 right now, cousin gave me a photocopied copy of a typed, like on an old typewriter, typed manuscript that was sort of a fleshed out, like sort of a transposition and fleshing out of handwritten diary that my grandpa John, my maternal grandpa John, kept as he went on a trip to Europe through kind of like mid to late spring in the year 1970. Jesus, what was like 78? I think it was. I forget. It was in the 70s. And his trip lasted 44 days. Wild. 44 days. Maybe it was 1974. It might have been 74. But anyway, he went on this trip for 44 days, into Germany, and then into Austria, and then on into Yugoslavia, then to Poland, and then back to Yugoslavia, and I think a bit of Romania. He went around. He went to a bunch of different countries, met up with a lot of distant family members, and got into all sorts of unique, novel, and interesting situations. And on top of that, it just so turns out that he was a pretty good writer. On top of that, I had no idea. I guess I come by it honestly. Wink. Grandpa, turns out, was a pretty good writer. He told a good story, and the story was true. And if you want to, and so I got this document, and I read through this document and gave my own commentary along with it. So if you're just now tuning in, or if you've, just completely missed it over the past few months, I guess, do check it out. It's on my... Well, if you want to see my pretty face, it's on my YouTube channel. There's a whole long series. Like, most of the videos as of late have been Grandpa Goes to the Eastern Bloc. So if you've not checked it out, please do. And if you want the whole story, half of it is on my Patreon, patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. And there you can get the whole Grandpa Goes to the Eastern Bloc series, plus all the other bonus episodes of this podcast and other bonus content from the other videos I made. I've not actively been making them. And I guess that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today. I've got no notes. Like 7 days ago prior to right now. Right now is Sunday, October 29th, and 2023 at 11:15 a.m. Central USA. I guess I'm going to be missing a Halloween episode this year because I wasn't really feeling it because I was fucking sick, which, again, I'll talk about that. Hold on. I got to get the dog more food, I guess. Just a second. Okay, Cosmo has food. If his bowl gets empty, he starts clawing at it. And he just will not fucking stop until you get food in there. And it's not that he's going to eat anymore. It's just he wants to know that he's not going to starve. And you're never going to starve, buddy. Not as long as I have a say in it. But yeah, patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. Bonus episodes help support the show, even though I've not been posting as much as usual because I've been absolutely fucking burned out. So burned out that I got sick, which I'm going to talk about after a little bit more stuff. If you want to find me on social media, my TikTok is at TTWJ Productions. I'm on Instagram and Twitter at James J. Asher. I have a subreddit, r/ThatThingWithJames. And if you want to reach me on my show email, which I'm embarrassed I didn't get back to some people who, Cosmo, leave it alone. Or you go to bed. Do you want to go to bed? Cos, get out of there. Jesus Christ, man. I'm trying to do you a solid letting you stay out here instead of having to be in bed. Come chill. I can't get a fucking break. That's what this episode's about. I can't get a fucking break. Show email is ThatThingWithJames@gmail.com. All of this information is written in the episode description. Now, 7 days ago from right now, I had an idea. This is when these things come to me. It's like at the one time that I'm not going to be writing it. Cosmo, do you want to go to bed? Get out of there. Sit. Leave it alone, please. 7 days ago, I had an idea of something to talk, like a topic to talk about on this show. But of course, I forgot what it was. So I have nothing written. So I'm just going to talk about shit. October. I guess this is going to be coming out in November. But it's October 29th right now. This is going to come out early November. It'll come out on this coming Friday because it's Sunday at the time of this recording. If October were a Need for Speed movie in my life, I would give it the title, Need for Speed 50 Burnout. Because, baby, I have been so burned out. Let me tell you what's up. I've been a good son. I've been a good boyfriend. I've been a good worker. And I've been beaten for it. I've been beaten for it. So let's say like this. Let me follow with the medical stuff because people in my life have been going through some medical procedures. Nothing made, no crazy emergency surgeries or anything like that. Just surgical stuff, and people need a driver. And I've been the driver. I've been the most reliable person. I'm the most reliable person in so many lives. I'm a reliable driver. So I reliably drove a family member to a medical thing, but some days before it, I pretty much came close to ripping off half of the nail on my middle finger. I can't even remember when the last episode of this podcast was, So I don't even know if I documented my finger in a Band-Aid, but I was just trying to adjust the cushion of the couch upon which I am currently seated. And I tried to adjust the cushion, hopping my butt up because the cushion's weird and the couch kind of caves in into the middle and, gets the pelvis unaligned, yada, yada, causes pain, so on and so forth. Well, my finger, I guess, got caught on the zipper on the side of the seat cushion, and it ripped the nail in half, but not like clean off. It ripped it and left a lot of, unripped part stuff attached. So it was just sort of like dangling and hanging over itself. And I'm already weird about like nail stuff, like nails getting ripped off, bamboo shoot torture, that sort of thing skeeves me out, man. Much like bones sticking out of like a fracture or something if a bone pierces the flesh. So I had a fucked up nail. I dealt with that, and I was already at the beginning of feeling a little burned out with life in general. Just I've not really gotten to have a break, and in the grand scheme of things, yes, I am lucky. I have a roof over my head, food in my belly, I have company, that sort of stuff. But in terms of like feeling like personally fulfilled, I don't believe I've had the kind of luck that I would like. And it gets a little old sometimes when you keep hacking away at something, hacking away, and things. And it's not just that your hacking away doesn't pay off, but it's also that you have to battle so many forces getting in the way, trying to stop you from hacking away. And then ultimately having no payout, at the very end. And when I say payout, I don't necessarily mean financial payout, just some sort of payoff to make the efforts, the time, the energy, the stress worth it. So many fucking things, always. And I was already kind of feeling a bit burned out, but, trying to keep my chin up, feel chipper as I marched on into October. I'm like, yes, we're going to decorate the house, going to have a nice, fun Halloween season, because I haven't had a decent Halloween season basically since the lockdowns. 3 years ago now, I think it is. About how long has it been? I don't know. But basically since lockdowns, I haven't had a decent Halloween, because I like to go out. I like to dress up and go out on Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. And I've not really gotten to enjoy it the way I like to enjoy it. Well, so I went out of town to help a family member, like chauffeur, and then help out and stuff, while I've got this busted fingernail that's bugging me, and I'm trying to keep it, covered and everything, so it doesn't rip any further, because, inevitably, if I didn't have a Band-Aid over it protecting it, even though it wasn't actively bleeding out anymore, I'd try to put my hand in my pocket, and it would rip at the dangling, jagged part of the nail, and that would hurt a lot. So I did that, and I came back here. And when I came back here, I had a whole new host of other stresses to deal with, trying to offer support to so many people, while also trying to keep my own head above water, because I'm already starting to feel fucking burned out. So many things fighting against, nagging, grinding, itching, clawing at my fucking eyes. I can't get a fucking a wink of sleep for a month. 4 fucking weeks, the dog's waking up every hour or every 2 hours in the night because he's got the shits, or he's just fucking acting out because he's awake and doesn't want to be asleep. I can't get sleep. I'm trying to work. I've got so many things clawing at me, and I'm just trying to hack away. At a certain point, I just say, okay, let's give the hacking away a break. Let's just try to get some kind of rest. Let's try to get some kind of recovery, but I can't even get sleep. Constant pecking, clawing, itching, prodding. Nagging at my mind, scratching at my sanity, man, non-fucking stop. And so then I have another deal. I've got to go out of town again to help another person out for a few days. And before that happens, like the night before that happens, guess what? I break a toe. Yes, I break my pinky toe on my left foot. As I'm breaking down the day, it seemed like a nice day. It's like, okay, I'm taking the rest. I'm taking whatever little ease on the pressure, not an absence of pressure, but no increase in pressure, because it seems like there's a constant adding on every single day. But oh no, I've got a day where there's a little, no more stress was added on. So I'm going to call this an easy day, okay? And at the end of the day, I'm shutting things down. I'm turning off the lights in the living room, and I'm about to head to the bedroom to get some much needed sleep. And then bang, motherfucker, my bookshelf. My wooden bookshelf jumps out in front of me in the dim of the evening as I'm, going, full force, walking speed, barefoot here in my living room where I record this podcast. And bang, the bookshelf jumps out and hits my left foot. Isn't that a movie? Let me have a drink of water real quick. While I think of it, I'm pretty sure it's called My Left Foot, starring that Irishman, that deranged Irishman. Let me get some water. I could tell right away after, hitting it and then collapsing on the floor, and I didn't even yell. I just did some heavy breathing, and then I went to the bedroom, and it was so tender that I could tell my left pinky toe was broken. I think it was probably a sort of hairline fracture, and it's still swollen and it still bugs me a bit. And that's kind of how it is. It didn't dislocate. Everything is still where it ought to be. It's just got a crack in it. I guarantee. I didn't even bother getting an x-ray because I've broken a toe before. I know what it's like, and I know there's really nothing you can do about it, especially the little toe. So I was walking around with a limp, and that limp started hurting my back. And my nail was healed up by this point. I mean, it's finally filled in. Like the pink part's all filled in like normal now. But the nail had just healed up, and then I broke the toe, and I was limping, and the limping hurt my back because I've already got back problems. And it wasn't the day before I left town to help another person for a couple days. It was, I think, 2 or 3 days. And what happened the night before I left, and I left the night before I left town, I'm having dinner, okay? I've got my broken toe. My back is starting to hurt me from limping around. And the night before I leave town for this second and final time for this particular helping out and driving and everything, I'm having not ravioli, but tortellini for dinner. And I put some red pepper flakes on it because I like spice. And I put some red pepper flakes on it, and I enjoy my dinner as much as I can, just trying to keep my nerves all cool because it's still nonstop stress, with like no recovery, not a single no real opportunity for real, recuperation. I have dinner, and then when I get up to do the dishes of the meal that I cooked, I feel one of those red pepper flakes had somehow gotten into my sinus cavity, in my right nostril. So like the cavity that's like near the top of your nose on the right side there, I could feel it. I could feel the heat in there. And it burned. It burned. I literally somehow managed to get a red pepper flake up into my sinus cavity, okay? And it hurt. So I go to sleep. And I wake up the next day and I start packing and everything. But when I wake up, I've got so much snot going on and I try to get it out and it's already stuffed. And I already felt like I think I'm going to get sick because I'm so burned out. I'm like genuinely burned out by this point already before the red pepper flake gets into my sinus cavity. I wake up with so much snot and I try to get it out, but it's not coming out. And I don't feel the burning anymore, but I do what I can. And I'm like, I don't know if this, I'm not even thinking of the pepper flake anymore. I'm thinking I'm definitely sick now. I'm sick. But maybe if I can get my sinuses cleared, then maybe I can, preemptively help myself out so the sickness isn't so bad and so it goes away quickly, right? So I do a neti pot. Problem is, my sinuses and everything were already too inflamed and full of shit. My nostrils are already full of so much snot and mucus and inflamed soft tissue inside my skull, inside my face, that it just didn't go well. It didn't clear out the way I wanted it to. And as a matter of fact, I think it probably did me more harm than good because I was just adding more stuff into my already stuffed face holes just beneath my skin, okay? So I do that. I clear myself out as much as I can. And then I pack up and I leave town for a couple days. And I try to manage, but I'm getting sick. I'm getting real sick. And at the night, I'm like shivering, okay? I'm shivering when I'm trying to sleep. My body temperature's going whack, and I'm like, fuck. This is worse than I thought it was going to be. So I'm out for a couple days, and I return home here to Tulsa, to my apartment where I'm currently recording, and I'm still sick. Like, it's gotten worse. I've got drainage I could barely talk. Like, I had some kind of drainage that it felt like burning hot razors going down my throat, down my esophagus, everything. It hurt so fucking much. Like, even to talk like this hurt. Like, it burned. That's as much as I could talk for like a few days. And so I had that going on, and my nose and everything was so stuffed that, like, just trying to take a sip of water, I felt like I was suffocating. And then, let's see. So this goes on. My body temperature's still whack, and I'm feeling real spaced out and weird and everything. And after, I think it's either the second or third morning being back here, I wake up in the morning, still like this. I can only talk like this. And I'm still stuffed and everything. But I wake up in the morning and I'm like, all right, trying to clear out as much snot as I can. But I'm also getting like so dry that I've got like scabs I still have them scabs all over inside my nostrils. So blowing my nose just hurts because I've got these sharp scabs all over the walls of my nostrils. And my sinuses are so dry that there's blood. It's like bloody snot coming out. Because, yeah, it's all dried out, but also inflamed and mucousy and everything. But in this one particular morning, be it my second or third morning back, I feel something like a drip, at the back of your throat, or like the top back of your throat where your sinuses drain into your throat. I feel something there. I'm like, this is more than snot. So I clear my throat and everything, and I spit it into the sink, and that's when I see, wrapped up in mucus, the fucking red pepper flake had been still in my sinus cavity for days, irritating everything because I already knew I was getting sick. I was like, I'm going to get a little head cold here. But then I got this red pepper flake, this capsaicin, this sharp shard of capsaicin burning and ripping inside my face, causing blood and suffering, and I still can't talk, and I'm miserable. My body temperature, it finally, I had a slight fever in the mornings, and then at night, basically the times I would be in bed, the fever subsides, but I still feel like I'm going wackadoo, and I'm just really spaced out. And finally, that thing clears out. And I'm like, oh my God, that had been in there the entire time. I had no idea. I thought it had cleared out. But it hadn't. It had been hanging out in that sinus until that very morning, where it somehow, some piece of gravity and mucus managed to just barely get it to the edge of the drip, where I was able to into the sink. And from there on out, let me tell you, the ease on my throat grew. I was still talking like this for up until like yesterday. This is the best I've sounded in 9 days, 9 or 10 days. Okay. Yeah. I had a fucking red pepper flake stuck in my sinus cavity. That came out. And then slowly but surely I've got less mucus. I'm getting a little better, but I'm feeling like I'm going to pass out at random moments, and I'm totally spaced out, and my sense of smell is weird. Like I smell this weird burning thing, and I'm thinking, oh my fucking God, do I have COVID again? Because I had COVID in January of this year. And let me tell you, I feel confident in saying that I need to take another sip of beverage. Just a second. Okay, so I had COVID in January. I got it like the first week of January. The first week of 2023, I tested positive for COVID. And it took a couple weeks, like it took just past the second week for me to test negative, but I was still feeling it for the entirety of the month. It wasn't until like the end of the first week of February that I kind of started feeling my energy return, feeling not so spaced out. My sense of smell kind of started coming back, but it's not like the sense of smell completely disappeared. I was smelling stuff. It just smelled like burnt. I call it like burnt carcinogens is what things smelled like. People say it smells like burnt toast. I don't know. The best way I can describe it is like burnt coffee, really. It's kind of like burnt coffee, just like this burnt, charred, carcinogenic kind of smell. And the taste wasn't even there. I was only smelling burnt carcinogens is the word I'd been using. But January, when I had COVID, was, without a doubt, thus far, the best month of this year, because everything after that has been pretty fucking rough. And I feel like October has been the climax. Hopefully it's the climax. Hopefully it's in terms of stress and burnout, It's just a, downhill slide. Hopefully this was the peak. Hopefully I'm moving on into the denouement, the denouement. Hopefully I'm moving into things getting resolved, loose ends getting tied up, a happy ending. I sure hope I have a happy ending this year. If I need to go to a massage parlor to get it, I'll do it, because by God, I really want a happy ending for this year. And I don't mean death. But January, because like going in, like the weeks and days leading up to 2023, I was like, I've got these things, I've got these general goals I have to achieve, I've got to do something. And then the sickness put everything to a halt, and it said, no, you need to sit down and chill the fuck out. And so I did. And I had this great, honest, reasonable excuse of, I have fucking COVID. I can't go anywhere. I have to be isolated and everything. And it turned out to be great. There was so much ease, all around ease. And then from there on out, it's been up and down. But this month of October has been brutal. It's been some days here and there. I had like maybe 1 week that felt like, okay, it's going to work out. I'm feeling the Halloween-y spirit. And then everything just got even fucking worse. And then I've got the fucking red pepper flake came out of my sinus cavity. And I'm like, oh my God, I think I have COVID. So I take a COVID test, but I test negative. I am negative for COVID. Don't worry. I don't have any heavy enough, at least I don't have a heavy enough viral load to pass it on to anyone else. But whatever the case is, I think that this sickness that I knew I was already getting, because I knew I was already burned out, was further irritated by a red pepper flake getting sucked up into my sinus somehow, because I guess I inhaled at an inopportune moment as I put a single tortellino into my gob. That further irritated the illness that it was already coming on, that I just knew it was coming. And then I thought, maybe I'm getting, maybe it's COVID. No, it's not. At least I'm not testing positive in any way. But whatever it is, triggered some lingering effects. I am positive. I don't know if this would be considered long COVID or whatever. Fortunately, I have no breathing problems. I never had any breathing problems when I was testing positive back in January. But this triggered some stuff. I was getting the same spacey. It was like a light version of like the same similar sort of symptoms, where I was just feeling real spacey and lightheaded, and moments where I thought I might pass out while I'm having to be strong and reliable for the people in my life, driving around, taking care of stuff, helping out, going above and beyond, the fucking Call of Duty. And all the while I'm like fucking dying and feeling like I'm going to pass out, and the smell. And I just now got it. It's fading. It's not as prominent now as it was yesterday, or certainly the days before. But I was getting that sense again, where like my smell and taste was fading, and I was only smelling like the burnt carcinogenic smell. But I haven't had that today. I haven't had any today either, but I've also not left the house because it's Sunday and I've already taken care of all my errands and everything. This is my day of rest, even though I'm not even. Would this be considered rest? I think this is considered more venting on the pod. But I'm healing up now. And so last weekend, when I originally was like, I want to do a Halloween episode for this year, I couldn't, because I couldn't even fucking talk. So that's why there's no Halloween episode this year. Well, that's it for this episode. If you want to stick around for the bonus episode, I think I'm going to look up some shit on Reddit to talk about just for some idea for content, because I am definitely in a need for content right now that I've finished the Grandpa series. And again, if you want to catch it, please do go back. And if you want access to the whole thing, go to become a member, support the show at patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. And if you want to do me a solid and help me come up with topics to talk about here on the pod, contact me at my show email, thatthingwithjames@gmail.com. I'm glad I don't have COVID. No COVID. Don't worry if you've been around me. No COVID. Bye.